This is Optimal Finance Daily, Episode 8, First Retire, Then Get Rich, by Mr. Money Mustache of MrMoneyMustache.com.
Get ready to maximize your potential with Optimal Finance Daily, the podcast that brings you the best content in personal finance 5 days a week. Your optimal life awaits. Now here's your host, Dan Warren.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Optimal Finance Daily, the podcast where I read to you from some of the best personal finance blogs on the planet. And I hope everybody's having a great week. Hope the weather where you are is starting to turn. It really hasn't been a terrible winter in my neck of the woods here in Pennsylvania, but I am certainly waiting for that spring warmth to come our way. Now, today we're going to hear once again from the man who is quite opinionated and not afraid to call you an idiot if need be for the way you're spending your money. That would be Mr. Money Mustache. And hey, maybe we should listen because he retired at 30 and most of us definitely did not or will not if you're not 30 yet. So we'll get to Mr. Money Mustache's wisdom in a minute. In the meantime, if you have any topic requests, come visit oldpodcast.com. And today I just wanted to say thank you again for being a loyal listener of this new show. We've had a great launch, and I really appreciate you coming to listen every day and optimizing your financial life with me. It's also great that many of you are becoming part of the family by joining the mailing list and getting some free stuff in the process. So once again, thanks for doing that, for being a subscriber, and for listening or downloading every day. Now, by the way, if you're not yet on the weekly newsletter, you can do that. Just text the word financial to 44222. That's 44222. Or again, visit oldpodcast.com. And now, let's start optimizing your life. First Retire, Then Get Rich, by Mr. Money Mustache of MrMoneyMustache.com. If you've ever told a non-mustachian about your plans to become a very early retiree, you've probably had to deal with a volley of skeptical questions. How can you be sure you'll have enough money for such a long period? Why did you quit working so early when you could have had hundreds of thousands more with just a few more years of work? Sure, you may enjoy a frugal lifestyle now, but what if your tastes change in the future? Or if you eventually have expensive medical needs? I wouldn't want to be locked out of a high-wealth lifestyle in my golden years just because of a choice I make right now. Questions like these make sense, and because they are genuine attempts to learn rather than just complainy-pants statements, they deserve real answers rather than just punches in the face. I got a lot of them after posting the article about how we save for retirement in 9 years on 2 regular engineering salaries. Although I will never lose my love for an efficient and simple lifestyle, I've actually got a secret plan to get quite a bit richer over the next 40 years. It's secret because I don't want this blog to become one of those big income, big spender, bibs blogs that everyone else writes. But it's not complicated. The trick is simply that I've been maintaining a positive savings rate, even in retirement. To understand the implications of that, check out the following 2 examples. Jack and Jill are 2 single MMM readers in their mid-20s. They are both planning to retire by 35, and each has determined that his or her annual spending level is about $20,000 per year. Jack follows the popular 4% withdrawal rate guideline and determines that he needs $500,000 in assets to fairly reliably generate that income for him for life. As soon as he hits the $500K mark, he quits his job. From that point onwards, he resolves to devote all his efforts to charity or beach sitting and never earn another dollar. He also decides to keep spending $20,000 per year, whether he needs to or not. Just for fun, let's say the stock market conditions are worse than average throughout his retirement. So he slowly uses up his nest egg, and when he dies at 108 years old, he spends his last few $1,000s on a scholarship for his great-great-granddaughter. Not too bad a life story, but it was a close call financially. Jill has also estimated that she'll need $20,000 per year in retirement, so she also works and saves until she has $500,000. At that moment, she is financially independent, just like Jack. And she has grown tired of her corporate job, so she's ready to hang up the keyboard. But like Mr. Money Mustache, she has a secret plan to end up much wealthier in her later years. How could this happen, even after retirement? To find out, let's follow Jill after retirement to see how things go. For the first year, she is in recovery mode from putting up with 15 years of corporate work. She spends her weekdays doing projects around the house and getting back into shape, her weekends visiting her still working friends and family, and several weeks taking a few of the trips she had been postponing. Phew, that was great. The whole $20,000 budget was spent, and she earned nothing. But by spending so much of her newfound free time socializing with friends, she learned of several interesting opportunities in her dream field of being a kayak instructor. A tour company was looking to hire guides, and some paddlers were looking for lessons. Someday, she might follow up on those. By the second year, her house is nicely fixed up and the desire to travel has been somewhat fulfilled. And since she's an MMM reader, she is occasionally tickled with inspiration toward living a simpler and more efficient life. A few interesting ideas come up, and she tries them out. The original $20,000 budget had assumed that she'd keep her fairly new Honda CR-V and drive it 10,000 miles per year at 25 miles per gallon. Now, thanks to the Little Car article, she realizes that a Toyota Yaris is more than big enough for her, allowing her to cash out about $4,000 of capital. And with some moderate hypermiling techniques, she gets over 40 MPGs. Also, she has started riding her bike more, reducing annual mileage. Driving costs have dropped by $2,000 per year, or 10% of her pre-retirement budget estimate. She also decides to quit her gym membership and join a rotating workout with friends circle instead, loses some of her taste for gadgets or perhaps another of her more expensive hobbies the next year, and realizes that all around she now lives on $15,000 per year. Meanwhile, the simpler lifestyle proves energizing and frees up time. She starts kayaking more and teaching lessons on the side. This turns into a regular class she offers through the local community college, which brings in $1,250 every time she runs it. To avoid feeling like it's a real job, she does only 4 sessions per year, bringing in $5,000 and netting her a nice tax deduction for any kayak equipment as well. One day, one of her kayak students is a guy named Jack. He's a handsome early retiree who has a lot in common with her. As luck would have it, he's actually a closet MMM reader. Once they discover they have Mustachianism in common, it is inevitable that they fall in love. Jack's solitary fate above has been changed, and now they live together and eventually end up married with combined finances. Don't worry, when two Mustachians live together, the joining of finances is far from a source of potential relationship friction. It's more of an aphrodisiac. Paired up, they are able to share one house and car. Despite traveling much more together, their yearly expenses drop to $30,000, while they still have passive income of $40,000. On top of that, Jack rents out his old house for a $5,000 per year net profit, plus there's Jill's teaching income, $50,000 per year. That leaves a savings of $20,000 to be reinvested annually. Over time, this $20,000 stream accumulates and compounds at 5% after inflation and raises their combined net worth by an additional $1.329 million over the next 30 years. This is on top of the $1 million they already had, automatically growing with inflation while also pouring out $40,000 towards their living expenses each year that also adjusts with inflation. They end up with a total stash of $2.329 million by age 65 or so, just in time to start enjoying the additional but totally unnecessary boost of Medicare and Social Security benefits. It's a fully fictitious example, of course, but it's not a far-fetched one. I've already told my own story many times of retiring, but then ending up finding I needed less to live on than previously estimated. We originally expected to spend $32,000 per year. Then we both ended up working part-time during various intervals and will probably take on even bigger projects when our boy grows up. Since retirement in late 2005, we've still ended up saving even more than the $20,000 per year described in the example above, meaning we're on track to have several million extra dollars saved by age 65. If you do your own retirement planning with a reasonable safety margin built in, making conservative assumptions on both the income and expense side, the same thing is very likely to happen to you. But you don't have to be insanely conservative, working for year after year to ensure a gigantic starting nest egg before daring to retire. I don't know a huge number of early retirees, but the ones I do know have always found that expenses drop more rapidly than expected after retiring and continue to fall through the years. Income ends up being larger than zero, even though your conservative estimates didn't depend on this bonus. Once you quit a full-time job, you just need a small positive savings rate to stick around and keep trickling into investments. This will automatically become a cash snowball as you go about your daily retired life. By the time you're old enough to need it, it will be bigger than you can possibly need. So don't think of the date of your early retirement as the last dollar you'll ever earn. It's just the first day of the rest of your life. You have just listened to the post titled First Retire, Then Get Rich by Mr. Money Mustache of MrMoneyMustache.com. And if you have any comments about the post or about Mr. Money Mustache, maybe you have a personal experience on this topic, anything that you'd like to share with us, head over to oldpodcast.com and share your thoughts with us. And that is going to do it for today's show. Once again, thanks so much for taking the time to listen, for supporting the show by being a subscriber. If you're not already on the mailing list, you should definitely do that. Just text the word financial to 44222 and claim your free stuff. Come see what that is all about. Or you can visit, again, oldpodcast.com for much more information. Have a great rest of the day, and I'll see you tomorrow where your optimal life awaits.
Hello, Life Optimizer. This is Justin Malik, creator and producer of this podcast, but also Optimal Living Daily, the show where I read to you from even more blogs covering finance, productivity, minimalism, personal development, and more from amazing bloggers like Derek Sivers, Zen Habits, The Minimalists, and all the ones you hear on this show too. So if you enjoyed today's episode and like taking amazing blogs on the go, come on over to Optimal Living Daily and subscribe to that one too. And together, we'll start optimizing your life.
You've been listening to Optimal Finance Daily. Be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date on each new episode and head to oldpodcast.com. That's oldpodcast.com for a free gift as well as more actionable tips and resources to help you maximize your potential. Thanks for joining us, and remember, your optimal life awaits.